Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video of Tech Wafer. Hopefully you are having great day. Adil here, your host, and in this particular video, we are going to discuss, unbox, and review this latest smartphone from OPPO, the OPPO's Reno 6 4G edition. And one thing that I should mention in the start, it is a modified version of OPPO's Reno 5, or you can call it an iterative update. So let's just start this review and find out whether or not this phone is worth spending money on. Here we go. Let's start with the unboxing, and one thing that you will notice when unboxing the Reno 6 is that its packaging is premium. When you open the box, at the top you will find a mini box which carries user guides that nobody reads and a protective case made of silicone which is pretty soft. Then you are going to find the phone itself with the key features mentioned on the external wrapper, and we are going to discuss them in their respective sections, so stay tuned and subscribe to Tech Wafer. If you dig further, you will have your hands on a 50-watt power brick, a solid one indeed. We'll find out shortly how much it takes to fill the 4310 mAh battery of the Reno 6. The box also carries the OPPO standard hands-free along with a USB Type-C cable, and that's it for the unboxing experience. Overall, in terms of the design, the Reno 6 is quite premium and has a solid build. But at the same time, I do feel like that they should have launched the 5G version here too, because that is far better than this one, and most of the users were hoping to get their hands on that one. The Reno 6 is made up of polycarbonate material, unlike its 5G version, which has a metal build with flat sides that looks premium. However, the matte finish of the Reno 6 also looks stunning, and the benefit of having matte finish is that the phone stays protected from fingerprint and smudges problem. There's also a two-tone shade that the company has named Reno Glow Effect, and the phone is available in two colors. Overview unit is Stellar Black and the other one is named Aurora. The phone is skinny and lightweight with the 7.8mm of thickness and around 173 grams of weight. The polycarbonate back of the phone houses a vertical rectangular camera bump identical to the Reno 5 with a change in the placement of LED. More on the cameras in the camera section, and at the bottom the Reno 6 houses a speaker grill with a single down-firing speaker, a USB Type-C connector, a microphone that is sitting beside a 3.5mm headphone jack. A power button with a green tinge in the middle is placed on the right side, which is easily approachable even when using the phone single-handed. The left side of the phone houses volume rockers along with the SIM tray, and it is in easy reach of the thumb. And I personally prefer such volume rockers placement because they can be reached easily and I'm more comfortable using them. The SIM tray slot carries a dual SIM and a micro SD card slot, and at the top of the phone you can find the noise cancellation microphone. In terms of the display, the Reno 6 houses a 6.4 inches panel at the front with 1080 x 2400 pixels of resolution. The display being AMOLED and 90Hz at the same time is great, definitely. For the pixels people out there, it has 411 pixels per inches, and with that it has 750 nits of peak brightness, which is not the brightest on an AMOLED panel, but it is bright enough that you can use it in an outdoor environment without any known trouble. Screen to body ratio is 84.8% because of the thin bezels, and the punch hole cutout at the top left corner houses a 44 megapixel selfie shooter with a gyro electronical image stabilization system. There's also an on-screen fingerprint scanner on the front that just works quickly. You can watch movies and play games on this smartphone, and the display will work excellent for both purposes. The 90Hz refresh rate can come handy, especially for the gamers out there. With the faster frames, you won't find the lagging issue. The viewing angles of the phone are also good. As far as the protection is concerned, the Reno 5 had Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection, but there is no mention of any in the specs sheet of the Reno 6. The media experience is good. but the stereo speaker setup is missing, and the phone at this price should have a stereo speaker setup. In terms of the performance, the OPPO's Reno 6 is powered by Snapdragon 720G coupled with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage. And apart from that, you are also getting the OPPO's RAM expansion technology, so you can expand this phone's RAM up to 5GB. So you'll be getting a total of 13GB of RAM on this smartphone, and this is the feature that was earlier missing on the OPPO's Reno 5. The benchmark score of the phone is 567 and 1723 on single-core and multi-core respectively on Geekbench 5. On 3D Mark, the overall score is 1047. In terms of the benchmark scores, there is not a noticeable upgrade here because the Reno 5 also had kind of similar benchmark scores. As far as the gaming experience and the performance of the OPPO's Reno 6 is concerned, it's average, but a bit optimized because of the 90Hz refresh rate. You can play PUBG and Call of Duty like games on HD settings on high frame rate, but to get the advantage of the high refresh rate and smoother gameplay, you should opt for the medium graphics and ultra frame rate. And by doing that, you are not going to miss a kill. The game space feature has a few settings like the performance mode, which blocks the external app usage, and the chipset focuses solely on the game that you're running for maximum performance. And other features include WhatsApp Messenger, bullet notification, and reject calls, and these can come handy for an excessive gaming user. Even though there is not much of an upgrade that you can find between the OPPO's Reno 5 and the OPPO's Reno 6 in terms of the hardware, but as far as day-to-day usage is concerned, you will not find any problem when you are using this smartphone on the daily basis. In terms of the software and the user interface, the Reno 6 is running ColorOS 11.1 at the top of Android 11.0. The user experience of the software is pretty clean with plenty of optimizations and customization available to choose from. You can customize the icon as per your liking and also the layout style. Not just that, but you can also customize the notification area and get access to the features like focus mode and bedtime, which can come handy in different scenarios. You can also make changes to the RAM expansion by going into the About section and clicking on the RAM anytime you want. And you also get the option to auto switch between the light and the dark mode, and there's also the always on display mode out there for users who have interest in that, and I am personally using always on mode on almost every device that I own. As far as the cameras are concerned, at the back the Reno 6 features the 64 megapixel primary shooter, which is a wide lens with f1.7 aperture. Along with that, it has an 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor with f2.2 aperture. Along with that, OPPO has placed a 2 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The phone has a 44 megapixel selfie shooter with f2.4 aperture. In terms of the performance, the camera performs quite well in a broad daylight. The shots came out fine with good amount of detail. If you tap on the AI enhancement feature, the results would be more contrasty and saturated. There's a toggle button for 64 megapixel mode, definitely for upscaling, and the results were pretty great. You can get well-defined and detailed pictures, but you will surely have to tolerate a large file size. There's an option for the ultra-wide lens as well if you want the wide perspective, but be ready for lesser color intensity, fewer detail, and distortion on the edges. But it's far better than some other that are available in the same price bracket. There's also a 5x zoom option that can come handy for different scenarios. Macro shots lets you get closer to the subject, but the details are a bit hazy. And I personally think that the brands should ditch the 2 megapixel sensor and at least provide us with a 5 megapixel instead. And I personally did not like the beautification mode because it turns you into a doll. The edge detection works pretty well, especially when you are in a clean environment, but it can fail sometime. In terms of the video recording, the phone supports 4K video at 30 frames per second and 1080 and 720 pixels also at 30 and 60 frames respectively. Other than that, you get the bokeh flare portrait video, AI highlight video, and some other cool tricks too. I'm not sure whether it's restricted by the processor, the Snapdragon 720G, but you cannot record 4K videos while you're using the filters and flare. They will be shot at 720 pixels at 30 frames only. There is no optical image stabilization, and that is the reason why the clips are little less stable. There is a way to fix it, and that is by enabling the ultra steady mode, but that will reduce the resolution from 4K to 1080p at 60 frames per second with a zoomed in frame. During the night, the camera's performance is quite okay, and for the better performance I would recommend you to use dedicated night mode, especially during the moon hours, to keep down the noise and stop blooming along with the better exposure for the entire frame. The zoom feature is also available in the night mode and it is usable. Ultra wide and zoom shots without the night mode are not that great. During our testing, we ran the PC Marks 10 test on the Reno 6 and the 4310 mAh battery of the Reno 6 ran for about 9.5 hours, which is above average. Within the battery section, in the system setting, you get options like super power saving mode, optimized battery usage and optimized night charging. And to be honest, these are really meaningful features. As far as the charging speed is concerned, the 50-watt power brick that comes along can charge this device up to 50% in 20 minutes and up to 100% in no more than 45 minutes. So as far as charging speed is concerned, you do not have to worry about that. Okay, so now it's time for the verdict, and as far as my experience and opinions are concerned, the OPPO's Reno 6 compared to the OPPO's Reno 5 is just an iterative upgrade. There is not much of a difference, but if you were planning to buy the OPPO's Reno 5, you should definitely check this device out, and you can definitely buy this one over that, the Reno 5, because it has a few key improvements like the RAM expansion technology that was missing out there. So that's pretty much it about the OPPO's Reno 6 review. You can let me know how did you find it in the comment section below, and do not forget to like this video and share it with your friends. See you in the next one. Till then, peace out.